That was in unison. Hi, guys. Yeah.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the 8 live from IFE New York 2018. In previous live versions of the 8, Sean has laughed uncontrollably. We'll see if it happens again on the 8.
I hope it does.
I'm going to try not to laugh.
Okay.
Right. So what's up first, Cassie?
All right, we're kicking this off with something fantastic.
What's fantastic here, Sean?
What's fantastic? It's a lot of people, a lot of franchisors, a lot of industry people, and potential candidates. Maybe.
That was like the most vanilla fantastic ever. How about a brand that you saw that you liked?
Someone asked me that yesterday, and the category for me was, okay, was it something unique or just something that's, I think, very solid? So there's a little bit two different things going on there, but I think the Warrior Factory is pretty cool.
Yeah.
With the kind of like the climb in and all that stuff, so that's drawn a lot of attention. So I have to say that's pretty cool.
One of 1851's own, Christian, was able to actually complete the Warrior Challenge. I was impressed.
Way to go.
It was actually impressive.
That is impressive.
I kind of like the concept that's next to us.
Yeah.
I like any. It's Golf U next to us. I like any brand that can really define who their buyer is. So when you're a golf franchise, you know you're gonna love golf. You know you're gonna have to be in your mid-40s. You know that because the investment is fairly low. You know that you're gonna go after someone who isn't a multimillionaire. You need someone that's still gonna hustle a bunch. So the net worth is really defined. I like any brand that can really define who is their target. Even Canine Resorts, higher investment, but you have to. If you hate dogs, you would. You could.
Emily needs to be mic'd.
Emily does need to be mic'd. If you hate dogs, it's probably not the right brand for you.
That's a good point.
Any brand that you like, Cassie?
I was going to say Warrior Factory just because that setup is getting a lot of attention. So I agree with Sean.
The only point is, at the end of the day, it's a business. So don't just go for what is kind of cool or trendy. Go for something that means substance from a business standpoint, and you could see yourself being successful in. So you may like it, but will you be good at it?
That's a great point. 1, 2, 3, we're going to say a category of franchise brand that us in the last 10 years have seen at a show like this that is no longer here. Ready? Category, not specific brand.
Am I doing this too?
No, because you haven't been here for 10
Like
years.
a whole category is no longer
like,
here?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think. I have to think about that.
Well, that was big and then declined.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Frozen yogurt.
I'm going to say soft serve yogurt.
Barely. I mean, that's the thing. What you just said. If you're buying a business, you need a category that's going to be sustainable. That's not here one day and gone the next. Next.
Fran Liberty.
Ooh, who's your Fran Liberty?
I know who my Fran Liberty is.
Okay, go ahead, Cassie.
Emily got recognized from the 8. So she is our Fran Liberty.
That's
this week.
impressive. So
Very
did you.
impressive.
I did. I'm famous.
What about the nacho vendor?
Oh, Nacho. Yeah.
Nacho Dad or
Nacho
Not your
Senior.
dad. I like that one.
Nacho? What was the line?
Nacho Senior.
Nacho Senior.
Senior.
Senor
Is that
Nacho.
yours?
Yeah, it was.
Who's your Fran Liberty?
Mine?
Yeah. We have some lookalikes.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of like industry lookalikes that we spotted. So that would be mine.
I'm gonna go with my new favorite to spot. Like I get joyful when I see him. Would be Charles Internicola. That's mine.
That's fair.
I think he makes people smile.
He's a nice guy.
All right, next.
I think you like Charles jokes.
I do love Charles jokes.
Next up is
Wait a minute. Not Charles telling jokes. It's
Oh no, I
making
don't
fun
like
of
those.
Charles.
Yes, that's correct.
For the record.
to clarify,
Yeah.
Fresh Money.
Fresh money. You know, I'll give a point on this. If you look around at the booths, it's interesting because there was a big play when you started disclosing in item 19 how much you would make. That was front and center on the booth. I think that's almost gone secondary. It's gone again. Have you seen that too? It used to be like in hard letters.
It used to be a differentiator that brands that came out with it early and said, here's our item 19 compared to brands that didn't. Now, again, like anything else, everybody has it. It's kind of a staple. So it's, walking by a booth and seeing numbers doesn't necessarily tell the full story because it's not just AUVs, it's bottom line, it's investment. So there's all those financial factors that take place, and so walking by a booth and seeing numbers doesn't necessarily stand out to people anymore. And so from a candidate perspective, do your due diligence. Again, talk to franchisees, find out what the true investment range is, find out what the true bottom line, even the numbers are, to make an informed decision.
Do any fresh money? I'll give.
Any fresh money left after last night?
No, I don't have a lot of fresh money.
I will give one more. If you follow Cassie on Instagram, are you allowed to even follow you on Instagram?
Yeah, it's public.
If you follow Cassie on Instagram, you can see Christian hustling someone in ping pong last night.
Yeah.
So he gave up game one. He gave money to the guy, said double or nothing, got his money back, and then he tried betting again. And the guy bounced because I think he smelled that he was getting hustled.
He knew. I forgot about that.
But I've never seen a hustle on ping pong.
No, it's normally pool.
Yeah, pool.
And he's in the franchise industry, so he may be watching A. So the gig is up.
Thanks a lot, Christian. All right, go ahead. Fran.
Yeah.
Do you have Fran?
I have a lot of friends.
What comes to mind?
All right, so I wrote my column this week was about fake news, which interesting. I need to look in this more, but on Facebook advertising, you're able to boost posts, and for some reason it said boost unavailable. I wonder if the column got blocked because it says fake news.
That's funny.
But the point was this: I was having a conversation with someone, and they said that they had read a piece of material that said it's all true. I was like, I don't know. We're talking about it, and I said I gave a fake scenario, and they later in the conversation they brought it back up and wanted to readdress it, and they said, well, let's talk about what you said. I said I was lying. But all it takes is someone saying that something is truth, and if you say it with confidence, it's believable. So it's tough in today's fake news world. It's tough to differentiate what's real and what's not. And I think, Sean, to your point, if you're walking around and you're trying to just buy based on the look of a booth, that's not the way you do it. You got to validate, or the people that you're talking to. You got to validate. You got to fact check more than ever today, because it's too easy to make up lies.
It's a good friend.
It's a good friend.
Thanks. What's next?
We're Frenching forward.
French forward, Sean.
French forward. He always comes to me first with these, as if I know what is next.
The seasoned expert.
I do love any time that I say something, he looks right at you and he addresses. He never addresses me on it.
French forward.
Are you worried that I'm gonna make you laugh?
No. I'm very confident. The guys are laugh. I'm very confident. You're not.
I'm probably the one that would lose it. Yeah.
Frenching forward. So we're in second quarter. I will say this. I have heard that industry growth is doing much better, I think, than last year. So a lot of the brands we're talking to are getting some very good momentum. I mean, it's not those type of years where it's explosive. I think there's so many brands, so many opportunities. Economy's good. People are not leaving their jobs. But there is some substantial growth that brands are seeing. And so it's a good indicator. So brands that were kind of slowing down last year are now kind of having some very good years. So it's good to see that. I think the rest of 18, if things continue, should be strong for brands.
It's positive.
Next.
Fran Funny.
Fran Funny. These two contributed to putting 2 slices of pizza in my backpack last night. I walked 2 miles
Those two.
with pizza in my backpack because they thought they were Fran Funny.
We were very Fran Funny. And I forgot about it till this morning. It was amazing.
Had nothing to do with it, but loved it.
And they're like, didn't we bring home pizza last night? Didn't we put it in a bag?
Yeah, we let it go too soon.
Yeah, not that funny.
Whatever.
Not that
All
funny.
right. For inspiration.
franspiration.
I just turned my head towards Nick.
There was someone else coming
Because you're
in.
getting ready to talk.
Can you inspire us with something?
Oh, I thought my last one was pretty good because I think
All right,
again,
whatever. Here's
positive
my-
momentum in industry. Okay.
Quote John Fitzgerald.
I do have some.
All right, first of all, back to Fran Funny. Emily, when you just got me, even though we called a permanent truce, she got joyful at the fact that you interrupted me. She went, all right.
Oh my god, I'm like
Here's the
cackling.
franspiration. Franchising is tough. You will not sell franchises at a show like this. Be calculated, be energetic, go full circle with your marketing, contact these leads as fast as possible, and you may also have a great Q2.
That just reminded me of a franspiration conversation we had yesterday about the true life cycle of a candidate and the true timeline. And that I can't tell you how many times I had conversation with brands in 2017, third and fourth quarter, saying that all the indicators are looking good and what they're doing, but this is not a impulse buy franchise development. There's people are doing the research, they're going to take their time.
Wait, I gotta go buy a franchise.
Which never happens. So, look at your development plans in a longer cycle. So what you're doing today from the lead generation standpoint is probably going to yield more likely 6 months to a year from now. And so you got to take that into consideration. So we live in this world where data and information is readily available, and I think we misread data too much, and the fact that here's what we did, and in 10 days, what was our results? The results should be measured on the impressions and the early indicators first. And if you're driving the right people and the right eyeballs to your website, which is the ultimate goal, then those things will nurture into becoming leads in the future. And that's the strategy that franchise brands need to take in franchise development. That's the people who are having good momentum. It's not big hits, it's consistent lead flow and deal flow.
Can you explain something to me?
Yes.
At what point did people start thinking that this is an impulse buy?
I think it's influenced more on the fact that because of technology and because of data, that there's real world statistics that you can just look at and say, this is working, this isn't working, and brands are not factoring in the human element of it. And really talking to people and understanding, when did you really start looking at a franchise, and what were the triggers that made you decide to get talking to franchisors and then ultimately signing? And if you do that true due diligence, you'll see that the process was much longer. The problem is today is everybody's just asking when they sign, it's like, what was it that made you sign? And it's going to be the last thing that they saw that triggered them versus what initially triggered them into it. So the last thing that had the most impact on them, which is great to know, but I think a false read.
Isn't this an industry full of sales professionals, though? Shouldn't they already be conditioned on... I mean, it's interesting. So take someone that's getting pressure from their CEO. They're obviously going to put the pressure down and say, why are we not selling more units on whatever suppliers or vendors are using to get to the solution? But they have to know that this is not an easy sell anyway. So are they deflecting responsibility and trying to make it an impulse buy to those that they're engaged with to help them?
There's so many variables in franchise development, and we've discussed many times. The unit economics. I mean, the real indicator is going to be the franchisee satisfaction and happiness. Those have to be aligned. If those aren't aligned, those are going to impact all those other metrics. However, because people just kind of look at just statistics all the time and look at industry statistics and say, well, we should have 100 leads and get a deal out of it, they're not taking into consideration all the other factors that are going to impact that. If you don't have good validation, if your franchisees aren't happy, it's not 1 out of 100, it's probably 1 out of 1,000. So, all those impact it. So it's just stepping back, and I think if you talk to the brands that are growing and find out what's working, and you'll hear this consistent theme. It's like the focus on franchisee success and a focus on telling your brand story and telling giving them informative information versus selling them. Nobody wants to be sold anything, especially an investment and something that's high risk, like starting a business. No one's going to be overly influenced through that. So that was my short rant.
It's a brand.
That's my friend.
It was.
What's next?
Frenemies versus brand.
Do you want to go with a frenemy first or a Fran?
If you got something teed up, go ahead.
Frenemy.
You're really thinking about this.
My frenemy is the bowling ball that I threw out of my lane into someone else's lane, hit that lane, bounced back into my lane, and still hit a pin. That was my frenemy and my Fran.
It's impressive.
Is that legal? Is that a legal bowling ball?
It is not.
So would that be a disqualified
That'd be a gutter ball.
Even though it hit pins?
It's not in your lane, so.
It did go in my lane.
It bounced back.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good bowling tip. Did it go completely out of the lane and then back in? I would say that is a gutter ball. Once it
It was
bounces
pretty
out.
impressive though.
That is. I didn't see it, and I can't believe we're talking about bowling highlights.
We've reached a new level.
Do you have a Fran or frenemy?
Oh my god. This is the 8.
This is the 8. Back live shortly. See ya.